Hey, small group leaders and small groups out there, if you're showing this to your small group, this is Pastor Kurt, and I want to talk to you just for a second about our passage this weekend so you can study it a little bit more in your small group. Let's go ahead and read it again. It's just 4 verses. It's Revelations chapter 2 in verse 8. It says, "To the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these are the words of him who is the first and the last, who died and came to life again. I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. I know about the slander of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not be afraid of what you are about to suffer. I tell you, the devil will put some of you in prison to test, and you will suffer persecution for 10 days. Be faithful, even to the point of death, and I will give you life as the victor's crown." Now, in these verses, there is so many incredible things to talk about. And I just want to remind you, the best job of a great small group is to get people talking. And whatever direction they want to talk, kind of keep those safety lanes to keep it centered on the passage, but let them go. Your job as small group leader, get people talking. You're like a great detective. All you want to do is get them in a room and get them talking. Once they start talking, they're going to end up preaching a great sermon to themselves. In this passage, what are some questions that I would use personally in a small group to get people talking? Here's the first one. When should we actually give up our wealth to stand up for Christ? Does Jesus want us just to be the sort of people that go, wow, I'm just going to give everything away that I own? When we are called to give things away, in what circumstances are we called? In this particular passage, the circumstances were clear. There was a choice. Directly, clearly deny Christ and keep your wealth. Or directly, clearly accept or stand up for Christ and lose your wealth. What are the circumstances of this passage? How exactly do those circumstances apply to our life? That's a great discussion question. Here's another one. How do we prepare for a hard season? When you're in a great season, what should you be doing? I'll give you a little hint. The answer to this is building great relationship. Talk about all the things you need to do when you're in a great season. If your marriage is doing great, I guarantee you it's time to store up some affection, love, and intimacy points for that time when it's a little bit harder. Here's an even better question, and this is where I would center most of the discussion in my small group. When you're in that winter season, when winter won't end, what are some of the practical things you do to endure it? Seasons come and seasons go. Hard seasons always come and they always end. When you're in the middle of them and it feels like they'll never end, or even the last 10% of them, when it feels like you can't take one more step, what are the practical things you should do to remain faithful to Christ? How can you encourage each other as a small group? And don't forget to end in prayer. Someone in your small group is in the middle of winter right now. They're playing it tough. They're not looking like they're cold, but it's dark and cold to them. And I want to tell you, when you play that role of a great small group pastor to them, get them to talk a little bit, give them a few practical suggestions from the relationships in the room, and then lay hands on them. Lay hands on them and say, Jesus, you're here right now. Help them in this winter. When that happens, you're doing the real work of pastoring. In fact, you're a VIP, a very important pastor at Bayside Church. Thanks for your hard work. I love you guys.